as far as the birthday card going forward with Epstein, there are some very clear things, and I'm just going to say it right now firsthand. Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein began in about 1991 and ended in 2007. During that time, Trump, according to these documents that are inside of the birthday box, the birthday book, that Trump was aware of Epstein being involved and as a sex trafficker. He was extremely aware, was part of groups that were very aware of Epstein being the head of the sex trafficking of underage girls. At least those boxes is very clear that Trump had that connection. Number two, during that time, Trump ran modeling agencies, had his own modeling agency, and was in charge of the Miss Teen USA pageant. Any event coordinator, and particularly people even working in the modeling industry, exposing underage girls to known sex traffickers, people involved in the sex trafficking business of minors and underage girls, can be held both civilly and criminally liable. If you run a nonprofit and you're dealing with children, you have a responsibility and a duty to protect those children. Donald Trump looks like he failed. Under laws that are being pushed by the Republican Party, some that I believe might go too far with executions and things of that nature. I believe that there should be severe penalties, yes, but I'm not always a person who believes in the death penalty. I believe that the death penalty should only be reserved for people who murder. That's what I believe. I mean, if the death penalty is there, it has to be murder, and probably even something heinous, because there's no turning back after you execute someone. But Donald Trump, from 1991 to 2007, was involved in Trump models and the Miss Teen USA pageant while he was close personal friends of Epstein. That alone, if you're involved in an event organization like the Miss Teen USA pageant, that's enough to get you fired. That's enough for the Miss Teen USA pageant or that event company to be compelled to disclose because of potential criminal endangerment of the children placed under their care. And the potential need to investigate Trump's modeling agency, because he was close personal friends of Epstein. And yes, at least in one of those pictures, and somebody writing down the notes beneath it about Trump investing $22,000 to buy the depreciation value of a girl. Now, people might not get this. There are multiple methods of how to create tax havens for wealthy people. One of them is buying depreciation. Here in California, you have Hollywood. One of the ways at which Hollywood movies are produced is because of all the depreciation that is occurring within the movie. Lots of things are being destroyed. Lots of things are being used. So there's lots of depreciation. And investors like to buy that depreciation. And they buy it because what they do is they get this huge, they are buying the tax benefit of those things for themselves. They get like a lien on the movie, and the depreciation is, say, well, let's just say the depreciation of an item is over 3 years. So they get a lien on those things for those 3 years. Every year, the third of the lien goes away, and then in the third year, it's all gone. But they might buy that depreciation at 50 cents on the dollar, 33 cents, whatever, 33 cents, 50 cents, whatever on the dollar. And the reason why investors really like that is because it's tax-free returns. So they really like that. And the question in that check is whether or not Epstein was developing multiple streams of income because he's around all these wealthy people who have tax burden issues. So Epstein came up with an idea, and maybe with Trump and all of his brilliant tax ideas, to buy their depreciation of the thousands of girls. And that's the other thing to understand about Epstein and Trump. And this is not even going with Trump. This should be with anyone that is in any way connected to Trump, that is connected to Epstein. If anyone shows up in those books that had modeling agencies that they ran, or were connected to teen organizations, should be heavily investigated about whether or not did they improperly endanger those children to a sex trafficker. Because the girls initially, before the exposure to Epstein, might still believe that what these people were doing was, good, right? That you're just being my friend and you're looking out for me. I'm at the Miss Teen USA pageant and I'm getting the scholarships and I'm getting all these things. I'm part of your modeling agency. I'm making some money and all this stuff, right? I'm getting exposure. I'm getting a career. When really that's not why they're there. That's not why the good thing is being done. Because the good thing that is being done is merely providing information to Epstein to analyze what girls he can use. That is what is in those two pictures. Is the admission in the one with the girl with, our dirty secret that never ages, and the check. If Trump was anyone, that person's career, that person's life would be over. That person would not be allowed to be around girls ever again. And they shouldn't. And our society shouldn't. After these two pictures, it should be very clear to anyone and everyone. Trump needs to be removed from office. And anyone who has been saying since 2016 to vote for Donald Trump should have their morals checked. Because it's not Trump. It has nothing to do with Trump. It has everything to do with the very simple reality that Trump was owning teenage youth beauty contests and teenage youth beauty companies like modeling agencies, while he was intimately connected to a sex trafficking ring. Which I'm telling you this right now, that based on things like Trump, for example, he has the one-stop parties that I talk about. But there were other people who probably did the same thing, particularly if the 22,000 check is real and important, and that there is depreciation, and you're around, certain billionaires, certain types of wealthy people who are just looking for tax shelters. And if these exploited girls were able to be used as tax shelters, then that creates a financial reason to find them. Because then you're not looking for the girls to have sex with. You're not doing that. You're looking for girls because they are creating depreciation values that you get to buy at a profit. That check that talks about selling depreciation is not selling the girl. It is creating tax shelters out of the girls that they were using, that they were exploiting and abusing. That their money was not just simply the money to be able to use them as prostitutes, but because these are very financially astute people, that they came up with a solution, just like with football players and football teams. Football players have accelerated depreciation, and it's part of the reason of owning a football team. Some people literally buy sports teams for all the depreciation. You can look it up. There is a thing called labor depreciation. It is a difficult thing to measure, but there are CPA firms that are specializing in this. I'm not saying that those companies are immoral or that depreciating labor is immoral, but depreciating criminal behavior is unbelievably immoral. Depreciating a girl under the age of consent that you are abusing is beyond sick. And must be dealt with. That's what the box is. That's what the birthday cards are. And it's why Trump needs to go. And anyone who is not saying that Trump and anyone else in that goddamn administration that has excused this behavior must leave immediately. Because it's only a matter of time before somebody realizes that what Trump is doing in that picture is adding more income to Epstein off of the girls by selling their depreciating value, which would be in a very short period of time. Because what are they, 13 years old? What is the year when they are no longer good? Or what qualifies as no longer good? What qualified as the end of the depreciating period? Was it an age of 16 or 17? Maybe becoming an 18-year-old where the thrill of having sex with a minor disappears because now she's legal, and the thrill of having sex with illegal sex, the thrill is gone because now she's 18. There's no fun there anymore, or less fun. Or could it be something else? I don't know. She falls in love. She breaks, she leaves. Something happens. Was there anything connected to that? Because Trump, yes, is a brilliant, beyond brilliant tax guy. Yes. And unfortunately, his brilliance got him in trouble because he kept on trying to evade taxes. But you can buy depreciation. And that's what Trump apparently is doing in that box. Trump needs to go. And anyone who is saying he should still be there needs to have their morality checked. Anyone who who has stood by Trump since 2016 has got to have their soul checked. Because all of this was knowable when all those girls came out. Because there were Epstein girls who came out in 2016 and people didn't care enough to be able to say anyone who isn't Trump. Literally anyone. So that's it. Get rid of Trump because he knew Trump was because Trump knew Epstein was involved in trafficking while Trump was engaged with vulnerable teenage girls in the Miss Teen USA pageant and his modeling agency, in which could easily have been fed into those trafficking circles. We only know that there are 1,000 connected to Epstein. We do not know any of the others who were learning that there were potential additional revenue streams as defined in the $22,000 check. Thank you.